chosen one. You walk through the crowd unseen, yet all of heaven knows your name. You look ordinary to human eyes, but in the spirit, you blaze like fire. You've been walking through seasons that made no sense: silence, rejection, delay. Yet even those were part of a hidden orchestration. You are not forgotten. You are concealed for purpose. The world does not recognize what God has wrapped in mystery. There were moments you thought you were being left behind, but you were actually being set apart. Others ran ahead, chasing visibility. But heaven whispered to you, wait. Every time you felt overlooked, you were being covered. Every time doors shut, you were being redirected to the right assignment. What you call stillness, heaven calls strategy. You have felt the weight of being unseen, the ache of pouring out love and receiving indifference. You have asked, God, do you even see me? And the answer echoes softly yet powerfully, yes, I see you. I never lost sight of you. The same hand that hid you will also reveal you. In the fullness of divine timing, nothing about you is random, not your pain, not your silence, not even your waiting. Every night you cried, every moment you almost gave up, it was heaven's classroom. You weren't being punished, you were being prepared. What others call loneliness, heaven calls consecration. You are learning to carry power without pride, to serve without needing applause. The ones who are crowned in the Spirit are first crushed in secret. And yes, the crushing hurts. The breaking feels endless. But beloved, that is how the oil is made. The anointing you carry is not cheap. It costs tears, endurance, and faith that refused to die. There's a reason you couldn't quit. Even when everything in you wanted to, something divine kept pushing you to rise again. That something is purpose. You may not realize it yet, but darkness has been terrified of you all along. That's why the storms came. That's why the rejection hurt so deep. Because even before you understood your identity, the enemy recognized your assignment. You are not weak. You are weaponized by grace. The Spirit whispers, this is your moment of awakening. The fog is lifting, and your soul is remembering who you are. You are not the same person you were last year. You have endured tests that could have broken you, but instead, they crowned you. You were hidden not to be forgotten, but to be preserved. Now heaven speaks. Step forward. The time of hiding is turning into a season of revealing. The divine spotlight is not for your glory, but for His. The same crowd that ignored you will soon see the hand of God upon you. The same places that rejected you will call for your wisdom. You were never invisible to the kingdom. You were simply being planted deep, so that your roots would outlast the storm. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 31, verse 6. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you, nor forsake you. Take this as your sign. Chosen one, you were never abandoned in the dark. Every shadow was a veil of protection. Every delay was divine defense. You are not behind. You are being unveiled, right on time. The same God who walked with you in the silence now sends this word to awaken your spirit. And when you feel your heart trembling with uncertainty, remember, heaven's hand is steady even when yours shakes. The path before you may seem unclear, but the one who called you is already waiting at the finish. What you see as confusion, he sees as choreography, every step leading you closer to glory. So, breathe. Beloved, stand tall in the unseen, knowing that angels surround you. Let courage rise in your chest, for you are walking in prophecy's fulfillment. The crowd cannot define you, only the Creator can. What begins in hiding will end in honor, and your obedience will write heaven's history through your life. If this message resonates in your soul, don't let it pass like another moment online. Like this message as a declaration of faith. Share it so that another hidden one can awaken. Comment 777 below to seal this word, a prophetic act of divine alignment and completion. And if you haven't yet, subscribe so you never miss the messages heaven intends for the chosen. You are heaven's secret weapon, moving through the noise, carrying eternal fire, hidden in the crowd, crowned in the Spirit. This is who you are. You carry weight that few can see. Chosen one, the weight of silence, of invisible warfare, of responsibilities that press upon your spirit, even when your hands appear empty. There are moments when the world moves on while you stand still, anchored by something eternal. You have asked quietly, "Why must I endure this?" But the truth is, the ones hidden deepest often carry the heaviest crowns. The weight you feel is not punishment, it is proof. Proof that you were entrusted with something holy. Heaven does not give its treasures to the careless, it hides them in the careful, the faithful. The ones who can be trusted to carry glory without seeking attention. You have been trusted with divine delay, because what you carry must mature before it manifests. There are nights when your tears become your prayer, and your silence becomes your offering. The world cannot interpret your pain, because your battles are not of this world. You fight not flesh and blood, but doubt, fear, and the quiet whisper of despair that tries to convince you to quit. Yet here you are still breathing, still standing, still believing. That endurance itself is worship. You may feel unseen, but heaven is watching every step. The unseen world takes notice when a chosen one refuses to give up. Angels mark your persistence like fire in the darkness. The things that broke others have built you. The pain that could have buried you became the soil that grew your roots deeper. Sometimes the Lord hides his strongest soldiers in seasons of waiting, not to weaken them, but to fortify them. He strips away applause so that you may learn to hear only his voice. You have felt the loneliness of divine separation, that quiet ache that says you no longer belong where you once fit. But that ache is sacred. It means you are being transformed. Every chosen vessel is first emptied. You've been poured out so that something greater could fill you. The silence of heaven wasn't rejection, it was preparation. In that stillness, you were being rewired to carry something holy. Your prayers may have sounded unanswered, but in truth, heaven was shaping you for an answer bigger than you imagined. The nights of struggle have not gone unnoticed. When you whispered, "God, I don't know how much longer I can take this," the heavens leaned closer. The weight you bear is the sign that you are trusted with mysteries others cannot yet comprehend. And when you finally emerge, those who mocked your stillness will witness your strength, as was spoken in the sacred texts of old. From the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 2. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. When you walk through fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not consume you. Let that promise sink into the core of your being. You have walked through floods of emotion that should have drowned you. You have stood in fires that should have consumed you. Yet you are here still radiant, still chosen, still standing. That is not coincidence, that is covenant. You were never walking alone. Every burden you've carried has been sculpting your spirit. The invisible weight forged invisible strength. The things that crushed you taught your soul how to breathe in faith. Every cry in the dark reached the throne of heaven. You are not unnoticed, and your pain is not wasted. You are a living testimony that survival itself is sacred. Now you begin to understand that being chosen is not about status, it's about stewardship. To be chosen means to endure storms, others escape. To carry light into places, others fear to go. You were called to rise when others fall, to believe when others doubt, to love when others hate. That is why you are different. That is why you have been refined. You may still feel the weight, but now you know it for what it is, glory in disguise. The heaviness you feel is not breaking you, it is building you. Heaven has been strengthening your shoulders for the crown that is coming. And when that day arrives, every tear, every ache, every lonely night will make sense. For now, hold your peace. Keep walking. Keep trusting. The same hand that allowed the fire will command it to cease. The same God who watched you fall will raise you higher than you imagined. You are the hidden proof that endurance births power, that silence hides transformation, that pain is often the prelude to glory. You have carried a mark that few could see. Chosen one, a mark not made by human hands, but sealed by divine intention. You've wondered why your path could never look like everyone else's, why you were drawn to solitude when others chased crowds, why you saw truth when others lived in denial. The answer lies in the unseen mark that heaven placed upon your soul before the world even knew your name. You were never rejected, you were separated. Every no you received was heaven saying, "Not here." Every door that refused to open was a shield from counterfeit blessings. You were not meant to fit in, you were meant to stand out at the appointed time. And though people may have misunderstood your heart, God never did. You've been walking under the weight of a holy calling that often feels like loneliness. There's something about your spirit that disturbs comfort zones. You walk into rooms, and without a word, darkness recognizes your presence. It's not your strength, it's the light within you. That's why some turned away, why some couldn't stay. It wasn't rejection, it was exposure. The light in you revealed what was hidden in them. You carry discernment sharper than you realize. What others dismiss as sensitivity is actually spiritual radar, heaven's way of guiding you through deception. The time has come for you to understand what this mark truly means. You were chosen to carry God's presence into dry places, to speak life where there is none, to walk in authority when others retreat in fear. But before you can lead, you must recognize the cost of being set apart. Every chosen one walks a lonely road before walking a powerful one. That loneliness is the furnace that refines your discernment. You see, the mark you bear doesn't make you better than others, it makes you more responsible. The world measures greatness by visibility, heaven measures it by obedience. You were not chosen to be famous, you were chosen to be faithful, to carry something sacred without dropping it, to stand when compromise looks easier. That's why your life has been different, because you are carrying something eternal. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 1, verse 5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. Let that truth settle in your spirit, before the crowd, before the criticism, before the pain. He already knew you. You were chosen in eternity, and then sent into time to fulfill divine purpose. Every challenge has been training for your assignment. Every loss has carved depth into your soul, so you could carry revelation with compassion. Your mark is spiritual royalty. Though the world won't see your crown, it's the invisible anointing that sets you apart, that keeps you walking even when no one understands. When others crumble under pressure, you rise because grace upholds you. When others chase attention, you chase alignment. That's what makes you dangerous to darkness. You don't seek validation, you seek obedience. But this mark also carries tension. You'll often feel torn between heaven's standard and earth's expectations. The pull to conform will battle the call to be holy. Yet every time you choose righteousness over relevance, you grow stronger in spirit. The enemy can't touch what's consecrated. He can try to distract you, but he cannot erase what heaven has sealed. Chosen one, the Lord is reminding you, your difference is divine. Stop apologizing for the fire in your soul. Stop dimming your light to make others comfortable. You were born to disrupt darkness, to break cycles, to speak truth, even when it costs your comfort. You are the sound heaven releases into silence. So when you feel misunderstood, remember the same spirit that set you apart is the one who walks beside you. You were never meant to blend in, you were meant to blaze. The world may not applaud your obedience, but heaven crowns it. And one day, the very things people mocked you for will be the proof that you were walking with God all along. Now pause for a moment and let your heart respond. If this word stirs something deep within you, comment, "I am marked." Say it not for the algorithm, but as a declaration of truth. You're not just typing words, you're agreeing with heaven's record of your destiny. Each word becomes a prophetic echo, reminding both darkness and doubt that you belong to God alone. You have been marked for miracles, forged for endurance, and destined for victory. Every scar, every delay, every heartbreak, all of it has been shaping you into the warrior heaven envisioned. You are not behind, you are becoming. You are not forgotten, you are being refined. The mark upon you is not fading, it's glowing brighter with every act of obedience. Remember this, the crowd may not see it, but the spiritual realm does. Angels recognize it, hell fears it, heaven celebrates it. You are sealed, chosen, and marked not by accident, but by assignment. You have walked through seasons where heaven seemed silent. Chosen one, those long, aching nights when your prayers echoed against invisible walls, when your faith was stretched so thin that you wondered if it would snap. Yet, even in the quiet, something sacred was taking place. You were being refined in the hidden furnace of God's timing, a process no one else could witness or understand. This is the season of silent refining, not punishment, not neglect. Refining, the space where gold and glory are separated from impurity and illusion. You were not left alone, you were being purified. Every unanswered question, every tear that went unacknowledged by people was gathered by heaven. You were being stripped of everything temporary so that only what was eternal could remain. It's strange, isn't it? How the absence of noise can be louder than the storms you've survived. Silence tests the soul more than conflict. It forces you to listen beyond sound, to feel beyond emotion, to trust without proof. In the silence, you learn the difference between God's absence and His invisibility, for He is never absent, only working where your eyes cannot see. When you thought you were forgotten, heaven was rewriting your identity. When you felt motionless, destiny was taking form beneath the surface. You've been in the potter's hands, pressed and remolded, stretched and spun until every crack was sealed by His mercy. That pressure you felt was not cruelty, it was craftsmanship. The refining season teaches patience, not passive waiting, but holy stillness. The kind of waiting that doesn't demand explanations but clings to promises. You may not have realized it, but in every silent moment, heaven was teaching you how to breathe under fire, to stay calm in uncertainty, to find beauty in surrender. Many gave up in this stage. They mistook quietness for abandonment and wandered off to chase noise. But not you. You stayed. You wrestled. You cried. You prayed prayers that no one heard but God. And in that persistence, your faith matured. It no longer depended on blessings. It depended on belief. You stopped serving God for what He could give, and started loving Him for who He is. You began to notice that in silence, clarity grows, distractions fade, your own thoughts surface, raw and unfiltered. God uses those moments to confront the parts of you that noise would normally hide: pride, impatience, fear. Refining exposes them not to shame you, but to free you. Every flame in the furnace burns away what cannot enter the next season. You are not being reduced, you are being revealed. The gold is not created in the fire, it's revealed through it. The heat does not invent your strength, it unveils it. What was hidden inside you can only emerge when everything superficial melts away. You are learning that pain is not your enemy, impatience is. The Word of God declares in the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 3, He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. He will purify the Levites and refine them like gold and silver. Read that again. Chosen one. He will sit. The refiner does not abandon the fire. He sits beside it. That means even now, as the flames surround you, He is near, eyes fixed, hands steady, watching until the reflection of His image appears in your life. The moment you start to look like Him, the refining is complete. Do not despise this quiet season. The noise of success cannot teach you what silence can. There is a power that only comes from being unseen, unheard, and uncelebrated. That's where humility is born, where discernment sharpens, where obedience deepens. You are being trained for the weight of glory. And glory cannot rest on the untested. This is where you learn to walk by faith, not feelings, to trust the unseen hand shaping your destiny, to let go of control and find peace in surrender. When this refining ends, you will not only carry fire, you will be fire. Everything false will have burned away, leaving only authenticity and power. So, stay in the furnace until the work is done. Don't rush what's sacred. The heat may rise, but so will you. The silence may stretch, but so will your spirit. The refining may hurt, but it is holy. Every chosen one must pass through this stage, for only the refined can carry revelation without corruption. When you emerge, your steps will sound different. Your voice will carry authority, and your presence will shift atmospheres. The world won't see the flames that shaped you, but heaven will see its reflection in your strength. You are gold in the making, purified, unshakable, eternal. There are moments, chosen one, when heaven interrupts earth, not with thunder, not with spectacle, but with a whisper that stops time. You may have felt it before, the sudden stillness in the middle of your chaos, the quiet thought that pierces the noise. This is not coincidence. This is divine intervention. Heaven doesn't always announce itself with miracles. Sometimes it simply rearranges your steps. You've been moving through life, carrying invisible battles, holding faith by a thread, when suddenly something stirs. The air feels different. The weight lifts for just a moment, and you sense the presence of something sacred. That's not imagination. That's heaven leaning in. When God interrupts your rhythm, it's because destiny is calling your name again. Heaven doesn't move according to your schedule. It moves according to divine alignment. Just as lightning cuts through the clouds in a flash, revelation can strike in a second, transforming everything you thought you knew. God speaks softly but powerfully, rearranging your thoughts without demanding your attention. He's not forcing his way into your life. He's inviting you to notice him in the details. Think of it like this. A painter doesn't shout while creating beauty. He simply adds color to what once seemed empty. That's what God is doing with you. Every silence, every detour, every unanswered prayer is a brushstroke. The image may look incomplete now, but when heaven steps back, the masterpiece will make sense. You are living through an orchestration that your eyes cannot yet see. Every delay has been a rest note in a divine symphony. Every "not yet" was heaven's way of saying, I'm still tuning your instrument. You were not being ignored. You were being prepared for the sound of destiny. And now, the conductor raises his hand once more, and everything inside you feels the shift. It's time to move when heaven moves. Time to listen more than you speak. Time to understand that when God interrupts your life, it's always to align you, never to abandon you. He's setting divine appointments, not coincidences. People will appear at just the right time. Doors will open in unexpected places, and peace will replace panic. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. That is heaven's invitation today to stop striving and start surrendering. You don't have to fight every battle in your own strength. You don't have to prove your worth to those who cannot see your calling. The very battles that wear you down are the ones God is already winning in silence. Heaven's interruptions are not always comfortable. Sometimes they come in the form of endings, relationships that fade, plans that crumble, dreams that seem to die. But if you look closer, you'll see that endings are really beginnings, wearing unfamiliar clothes. When heaven closes one door, it's not to trap you in confusion, but to guide you through another entrance that only the faithful can find. It's like a gardener pruning a vine. At first, it looks like lost branches cut away, beauty reduced. But in time, what seemed like destruction reveals itself as care. The pruning wasn't punishment, it was preparation for fruit. That's what heaven is doing with you. The interruptions, the shifts, the sudden redirections, they're not chaos, they're cultivation. And when that realization settles in your spirit, peace follows. You no longer need to control every outcome. You start to see divine fingerprints in places you never noticed before, in delays, in silence, in small acts of grace. You begin to trust that even in the detours, God is still driving. If this message resonates with you, if you can feel that quiet stirring in your spirit, that sense that heaven is close, let this moment be sacred. Like this message, not out of routine, but as a gesture of agreement with heaven's timing, share it. Not as promotion, but as a seed, a way of letting this truth find another heart that needs peace today. And if you feel led, subscribe, not for content, but for connection, a continual reminder that you are part of something divine, something awakening in the earth right now. Because heaven's interruptions are not random, they are invitations. Invitations to rest, to trust, to align. The same God who parted seas is still parting paths for you quietly, purposefully, perfectly. You may not hear thunder, but if you listen closely, you'll hear the rustle of angels making room for your next chapter. You are walking in sacred timing. The divine pause has ended. Heaven has touched earth again, and this time, it came for you. Across nations and generations, something is stirring. A quiet awakening moves through the earth, a gathering of those who were once hidden, misunderstood, underestimated, chosen one. You are part of that rising. The hidden ones are beginning to recognize each other. It's as if heaven has whispered a secret name into the wind, and every soul marked by light turns their head at once. You felt it, that tug in your spirit that says, something is shifting. The same fire that has been refining you in silence is now calling you into alignment. You are not alone. Across cities, mountains, and deserts, hearts like yours are beating to the same heavenly rhythm. Each one has carried private pain, silent battles, and sacred faith. Each one has been hidden under God's hand, waiting for the appointed moment. That moment is now. The gathering has begun. Not a gathering of fame or faces, but of spirits. A movement invisible to the world's eye, yet thunderous in heaven's realm. The hidden ones are rising, not to be seen, but to serve. Not to be celebrated, but to carry light into dark places. This is not an army made of noise, it's an army made of obedience. And you, chosen one, have been enlisted. You were never called to fight alone. Every trial you survived was a signal flare that drew other warriors toward you. The pain you endured became a beacon for others walking through the same valley. Now, one by one, those who have carried the same burden begin to find each other, not by algorithms, not by chance, but by divine orchestration. Imagine it, souls scattered like stars, now being drawn into constellation. Each point of light carries a story, but together they form a map, a pattern, heaven designed long ago. This is what you are part of. You may not see the full picture yet, but when these lights align, darkness will tremble. According to what is revealed in the book of Psalms, chapter 68, verse 11, the Lord gives the word. The women who proclaim the good tidings are a great host. Then, heaven has released the word, and now his messengers, men and women alike, are responding. You are part of that great host, a generation that carries truth through compassion and boldness through love. The hidden army doesn't march with weapons, but with wisdom. It doesn't conquer through force, but through faith. There's power in knowing you're not isolated anymore. The enemy tried to convince you that you were alone in your fight, that no one could understand your burden. But he was wrong. You were being separated so that you could recognize your tribe by the sound of their surrender. Those who have been broken in the same way recognize the melody of mercy when they hear it. Every battle you faced was training. Every tear was initiation. The hidden army is forged in secret and revealed in perfect timing. These are not ordinary believers. These are torchbearers, carriers of presence, voices of clarity in an age of confusion. The world may laugh at faith, but heaven is arming the faithful with authority that cannot be denied. You are part of a divine movement that transcends borders, languages, and labels. When you pray, nations shift. When you speak truth, atmospheres change. You don't have to be loud to be powerful. Heaven amplifies purity. The world looks for influence. God looks for impact. The gathering of hidden ones will bring both. And though this awakening is global, its first spark is personal. It begins in you, in your decision to stand, to believe, to obey. The same spirit that's moving through continents is moving in your chest right now, whispering, "Rise, so rise." Chosen one, step into your assignment. Lift your eyes beyond the crowd, for you are not just part of a story, you are part of a revolution of light. Every prayer you whisper strengthens the army. Every act of love sends ripple effects into eternity. Now, if this word resonates in your spirit, if you sense that this is your tribe, that you are part of this holy gathering, comment 444 below. That number represents divine order and heavenly foundation. It is not superstition, it's a prophetic symbol that heaven's structure is being established in your life. When you type it, you're not just reacting, you're responding to a call, aligning yourself with the rising of the hidden ones. Heaven is gathering its warriors, not in palaces, but in prayer rooms, not on stages, but in secret spaces. You have been summoned to this moment, not to blend in, but to stand in formation with those who burn for truth. Together, you are the echo of eternity, the gathering of fire, the alignment of purpose, the army heaven hid until now. There is a sacred weight that rests upon those who have been misunderstood. Chosen one, you have carried it quietly, a heaviness that others could not name, a depth that others mistook for distance. But you were not created to be easily understood. You were created to be divinely refined. Your path has always been unusual because your purpose has always been uncommon. The misunderstood carry mantles the world cannot interpret. The prophets were mocked before they were honored. The dreamers were ridiculed before their visions came true. The intercessors were labeled strange before their prayers turned the tide of nations. You stand in that same lineage, misunderstood. Yes, but never misplaced. Heaven has always known exactly where to find you. The mantle you carry is not something you chose. It was something placed upon you. It came wrapped in pain, disguised as rejection. When people turned away, they didn't realize they were helping you step deeper into consecration. Every time someone said you were too intense, too sensitive, or too different, heaven smiled because it was proof that you were walking in divine alignment, not worldly approval. Your pain has become your anointing. Every heartbreak pressed oil from your spirit. Every misunderstanding taught you to seek God's voice above all others. You learned to stop explaining yourself to those who could not hear your frequency. You stopped chasing validation because you began to realize that what covers you comes from heaven, not from men. The misunderstood often carry revelation before its time. You've seen glimpses of what's coming, felt burdens others can't feel, heard truths others refuse to face. That sensitivity isn't weakness, it's sacred perception. God has trusted you to feel what He feels, to weep where others laugh, to intercede where others ignore. The mantle you carry allows you to sense spiritual reality before it manifests in the physical. It's a lonely assignment sometimes. You may sit in rooms full of people and still feel unseen. You may speak truth and watch others smile politely, unaware that heaven itself just spoke through you. You may love deeply and be met with indifference. But this is the cost of carrying revelation in a world that prefers entertainment to transformation. The misunderstood must learn to endure silence without bitterness and distance without despair. Your tears have become intercession. Your sighs have become language heaven understands. You don't have to be loud to be powerful. Quiet endurance often carries more authority than public display. The oil you carry was pressed from the weight of loneliness, purified through misunderstanding, and sealed by endurance. That's why it can't be imitated. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 34, verse 18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Read that again, slowly. The Lord is not far from your sorrow. He is inside it with you. When you felt invisible, He was watching. When you felt abandoned, He was nearer than your breath. The crushing didn't break you, it brought you closer to Him. That nearness is your reward. The hidden strength behind your calm, the quiet fire behind your gentleness. You were never meant to be understood by everyone, because your calling is not for everyone. The mantle of the misunderstood is a mantle of mercy. You love deeper because you've been broken wider. You forgive faster because you know the pain of being misread. You intercede harder because you know what it feels like to be unseen. That's not weakness, that's divine empathy in action. Your life itself becomes a message not through explanation, but through endurance. People may not understand your story now, but one day they'll see that every season of rejection was redirection. Every no was a step towards something eternal. You are carrying an anointing that cannot be taught in classrooms or obtained through status. It's carved through experience, molded by tears, and sealed through trust. You are not fragile, you are forged. You are not broken, you are blessed. The misunderstanding was never the end, it was the molding. God was teaching you to depend on His voice, not their applause. He was stripping away every false mirror until you could see yourself through His reflection alone. The mantle you carry may feel heavy now, but it will soon rest like a crown. What once felt like burden will become blessing. The same sensitivity that once made you weep will empower you to heal others. The same isolation that once crushed you will teach others how to find peace in God's presence. You were not cursed by difference. You were crowned with discernment. So walk on. Chosen one. Keep your heart soft, even when misunderstood. Keep your spirit pure, even when judged. Keep carrying the mantle, even when it feels invisible. Heaven sees. Heaven knows. Heaven remembers. The misunderstood today will be the torchbearers. Tomorrow, those who turned pain into power and rejection into revelation. There are battles that rage in silence, unseen by the human eye. Chosen one. You have fought in those places, the war no one sees. While others slept peacefully, you wrestled with invisible weight. You've stood in the middle of invisible storms, praying under your breath while smiling on the outside. That quiet endurance is not weakness, it is warfare. You are a warrior who has learned to fight on your knees. The spiritual realm is real, and it recognizes you. The moment you chose light over darkness, you became a target of resistance. But what the enemy failed to understand is that heaven already armed you before the battle began. You don't fight for victory, you fight from it. Every weapon formed against you has met the wall of divine authority that surrounds you. You felt those strange pressures, the sudden heaviness, the inexplicable fatigue, the thoughts that come from nowhere, trying to break your focus. Those are not coincidences, they are symptoms of spiritual warfare. But take heart. The very fact that you feel it means you are a threat to the darkness. The enemy only attacks what intimidates him. Many people think warfare looks like shouting prayers or grand gestures, but you've learned that some of the fiercest battles happen in whispers. A single Jesus breathed through tears can shake unseen kingdoms. Your silence, when soaked in faith, carries more power than the loudest argument. The war is not always external. Sometimes it's the quiet choosing of peace over panic, forgiveness over fury, obedience over pride. Your victories have come in the moments when no one was watching. You stood your ground when compromise seemed easier. You lifted your hands in worship when your heart felt broken. You forgave people who didn't deserve it. Not because you were weak, but because you refused to let bitterness become your chain. These are the victories that heaven applauds, though earth may never notice. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." These words unveil what your spirit has always known, that the real battle is unseen. You've been fighting for peace, for purity, for purpose, not against people, but against the lies that whisper in the dark, the fears that crawl into your mind, the discouragement that tries to settle like dust on your dreams. You are not crazy for feeling the tension. You are conscious of the real war. But do not fear. Chosen one, every battle you face has already been accounted for in heaven's design. Nothing catches God off guard. He has trained your hands for war and your heart for worship. You are not defenseless. You are divinely equipped. Prayer is your sword. Faith, your shield. Truth, your armor. Every time you choose to believe when you cannot see, you strike a blow against the enemy's deception. The unseen war is not meant to crush you, it's meant to crown you. You learn strategy in the shadows that will later guide others in the light. The wilderness has been your training ground. The silence, your school of discernment. You are not fighting in vain. Every battle prepares you for a greater victory. Sometimes you will feel weary, and that's okay. Even warriors need rest. God never asked you to fight non-stop. He asked you to trust Him. Some battles are won by standing still, by letting the captain of heaven's armies fight on your behalf. Your surrender is not retreat, it's divine strategy. You may look ordinary on the outside, but in the spirit realm, your presence commands attention. Angels recognize your authority. Darkness trembles at your persistence. You've walked through nights others could not survive. Yet, Here you are still standing, still shining, still believing. That is victory. And though no one applauds when you win these invisible wars, heaven records every triumph. Every time you choose faith over fear, heaven writes it down. Every time you rise after falling, heaven celebrates. Your private obedience is public warfare in the spiritual realm. So, chosen one, do not despise the invisible battles. They are proof of your importance to heaven's plan. The louder the resistance, the greater the revelation waiting on the other side. You are not losing, you are learning. The war no one sees is forging a warrior. The world will soon witness. Stand tall in grace. Keep your eyes fixed on the unseen. The real battlefield has never been around you. It has always been within you. And there, within that sacred space, you are winning more than you know. There is a moment in every chosen one's journey when faith becomes fire. It's when prayer stops being a request and turns into warfare. When your tears no longer beg for escape, but become fuel for endurance. You've reached that point. Chosen one, you are learning to wield faith like a weapon, not as defense, but as declaration. The covenant of fire and faith is not a poetic image, it's a reality forged in the Spirit. You have been walking through trials that seem designed to break you, but they have actually been refining you. Each difficulty has been a forge, each disappointment a flame, and through it all, your faith has not withered, it has hardened into something indestructible. At times, you wondered why the pressure never stopped. You prayed for peace, but found yourself standing in battle. Yet heaven was answering your prayer in a deeper way, by giving you strength instead of escape. Faith is not the absence of struggle, it is the courage to stand within it. Unshaken. You have learned that real faith doesn't require proof. It believes before seeing. It holds on when feelings fade. It speaks life when evidence screams otherwise. You've begun to realize that faith is not built in comfort, it's born in contradiction. And the contradictions of your life have not been punishment, they've been prophecy. When everything around you said, "Quit," your spirit whispered, "Stand." When fear tightened its grip, you lifted your head and said, "Still, I trust." That's covenant. Not a temporary agreement, but a divine exchange. Your weakness for His strength. Your uncertainty for His promise. As Jesus Himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 17, verse 20, "If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you." Those words were not metaphor, they were a manual for spiritual living. Mountains move not because of your volume, but because of your belief. The unseen world bows to conviction that stands on truth. And that is what you are learning to do, to command with calmness, to believe without begging, to stand without shaking. The covenant of fire and faith means that when the flames rise, so does your authority. The more intense the trial, the purer your belief becomes. Just as gold is refined in heat, faith glows brightest when tested. Your faith is not fragile, it has been tested by storms, tears, and time. You have discovered that faith is not a feeling, but a force. There is a sound that comes from a believer who refuses to break. Heaven hears it. Hell fears it. It's the sound of faith that has been tried and proven. You may not shout, but your silence speaks authority. You may not have everything figured out, But your persistence in believing has already marked you as victorious. Look back for a moment every time you thought it was over. God made a way. Every time your strength ran out, grace carried you. Every time you were unsure how to stand, peace met you where you fell. This is covenant in motion. He has never left you, never stopped refining you, never stopped preparing you for greater authority. You are beginning to walk differently now. There's steadiness in your steps. Even when the ground shakes, you have learned the rhythm of heaven, that waiting is not wasted time, that pain is not punishment, that pressure is the birthplace of power. You've grown from praying for rescue to praying for revelation. That is spiritual maturity. And now, chosen one, heaven is teaching you something deeper. Faith not only protects you, it transforms you. It makes you unrecognizable to fear. The same flames that once frightened you now feel familiar, almost holy, because you've learned they carry presence. Every fiery trial has been a visitation, not a curse. You are being shaped for something eternal, so stand tall. Even when the fire rises, do not fear the heat. The fire recognizes its own. The God who walks with you in the furnace will reveal his glory through you. The covenant stands unbroken. He will not fail you, and you will not fall apart. Now, if this truth burns within your heart, comment, "Faith still stands." Write it as an act of remembrance, not routine. Let it be your banner in the unseen world, a declaration that despite the flames, despite the weight, despite the waiting, your faith remains. When you type those words, you are not just agreeing with a message, you are aligning with your miracle. Heaven reads that kind of faith, because this is what the covenant of fire and faith truly means. Not that you'll never face storms, but that storms will never silence your belief. You are proof that faith still stands, and it always will. There comes a moment when the heavens speak louder than your doubts. Chosen one. A moment when every whisper, every unanswered prayer, every long night suddenly makes sense. That moment is now. The call from the throne room has gone out, not as a shout, but as a vibration that moves through your spirit, like wind through trees. You feel it, don't you? That quiet certainty that says, "It's time." You have spent seasons in preparation, years in silence, months wondering whether your prayers reached the sky. But heaven was never ignoring you. Heaven was aligning you. Like a king polishing his crown before the ceremony, God was shaping your spirit, sanding away pride, fear, and doubt until what remains is pure obedience. The call from the throne room does not come to the hurried, it comes to the ready. When heaven speaks, the earth must adjust. The call might not sound like words. Sometimes it feels like peace in chaos. Sometimes like fire in your bones. You may not hear trumpets, but you will sense the shift. Something sacred pulling you forward while the past quietly releases its grip. You are being summoned not for recognition, but for representation. You carry heaven's message in human form. The call of God is not an announcement, it is an awakening. It arrives like sunrise, slow yet unstoppable. One moment you are waiting. The next, you realize the waiting was preparation. Every delay, every disappointment, every detour was a breadcrumb leading you to this threshold. You were never wandering. You were walking the route heaven wrote for you. When you answer this call, The atmosphere around you begins to change. It's as though heaven rearranges the air itself to make room for what's coming. You may lose some people. You may outgrow some spaces. But that's not loss, it's alignment. Just as an eagle sheds old feathers before rising higher, you must release what cannot soar with you. The higher the call, the lighter the load. Scripture says in the first book of Samuel, chapter 3, verse 10, "Then the Lord came and called, 'Samuel, Samuel,' and he said, 'Speak, for your servant is listening.'" Oh, one. That's the posture heaven is asking of you. Now listening, not performing. God doesn't need perfection. He seeks availability. When you still your soul long enough, you will hear him not in the noise of striving, but in the silence of surrender. The same voice that called Samuel in the night now calls your name in this moment. You might feel unqualified, too ordinary to be chosen. But remember, God always chooses the quiet ones. He crowns the faithful before the famous, anoints the hidden before the heralded. David was called while tending sheep. Mary was visited in obscurity. Gideon was hiding when heaven found him. The pattern never changes. God calls the unnoticed because they're the ones still listening. Your yes doesn't have to be loud, it just has to be real. The throne room does not measure volume, it measures surrender. When you whisper, "Here I am, Lord," heaven hears it as thunder. That whisper shifts destiny. It unlocks the next chapter of your story. Think of your life like a river winding, unpredictable, yet always moving toward the ocean. You may not see the destination, but you can feel the pull. Every twist and stone along the way is shaping your flow. And now, heaven removes the final barrier. The river is being released into its greater course. That's what this call is, release. So, chosen one, pause here, breathe deeply. Let gratitude fill the spaces where fear once lived. The throne room has called your name, not because you are flawless, but because you are faithful. The King is not looking for polished vessels, but willing ones. You are ready, even if you don't feel ready. If this word touches something deep within your spirit, if you can feel that tug between heaven and earth like this message as your silent Amen, share it not to spread a video, but to pass the flame somewhere. Another hidden one is waiting for the same confirmation you just received. And if you feel led, subscribe, not for routine, but for relationship. Each message you receive is another thread connecting you to this divine tapestry being woven across the world. Because the call from the throne room is not about platforms or performance, it's about presence. God is raising a generation that carries heaven's tone in human voice, love in every gesture, truth in every breath. The time of waiting is over. The moment of calling has arrived. So lift your head, chosen one. Heaven is speaking your name again, and this time, the world will hear the echo. You have walked through wilderness seasons where nothing seemed to grow. Chosen one, times when prayers felt unanswered, dreams felt distant, and hope flickered like a candle in the wind. Yet, through every barren stretch, heaven was not punishing you, it was preparing you. The wilderness was not a place of abandonment, it was a place of awakening. Every chosen vessel must pass through a wilderness before stepping into witness. It is the divine classroom where theory becomes testimony, where words turn into weight, and where faith becomes fact. You entered it thinking you were losing yourself. But in truth, you were finding your real identity. The wilderness strips away every false layer until only the eternal remains. It is quiet there, painfully quiet sometimes. The silence presses against your chest, demanding patience when your flesh wants proof. But in that stillness, something sacred begins to happen. You start to recognize God's voice, not through sound, but through peace. You learn that absence is not abandonment, it's invitation. Every moment of uncertainty becomes an altar where you surrender control. The wilderness has been misunderstood for centuries. People see it as exile, but heaven sees it as encounter. Moses met the burning bush there. Elijah heard the whisper of God there. Even Jesus faced temptation there before his public ministry began. The wilderness is where servants become messengers and wanderers become witnesses. It is where the unseen foundations of destiny are laid. And so, when you walked through your own wilderness, the losses, the delays, the heartbreak, heaven was not silent out of cruelty, but out of care. It was teaching you endurance, shaping your discernment, and grounding your faith in something immovable. The deeper the silence, the stronger the structure being built within you. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Hosea. Chapter 2, verse 14. Therefore, I am now going to allure her. I will lead her into the wilderness and speak tenderly to her. Adding, those words reveal what your heart has lived, that the wilderness is not a place of wrath, but of romance. God draws you there to speak softly, to teach you how to recognize his heartbeat above the noise of the world. He brings you away from the crowd so that you will never confuse applause with approval again. You see, when everything is stripped away, you discover that God alone is enough. The job title, the relationships, the routines, they may fade for a time, but his presence remains. The wilderness reveals that your worth was never tied to what you had, but to who he is in you. That revelation is the foundation of freedom. In the wilderness, you learn the rhythm of reliance. You stop running from lack and start trusting that provision flows from obedience. Manna fell daily, not monthly, not yearly, daily. It taught dependence. The wilderness teaches you to walk step by step, not sprint ahead in assumption. Every breath becomes an act of faith. There is also humility born in the barren places. You learn to celebrate small victories, the sunrise after a long night, the whisper of hope in a weary heart. Gratitude grows where pride once lived. You begin to see beauty in the ordinary, holiness in simplicity. The wilderness changes your vision. It makes you notice grace in details you used to overlook. And then, something begins to shift. The same ground that felt lifeless starts to produce fruit. The same places that once echoed with silence now hum with revelation. You realize that the wilderness wasn't killing you, it was cultivating you. It was turning you from follower to leader, from believer to witness. You've walked through the valley of desolation only to emerge as a vessel of demonstration. Your story becomes evidence. The scars you tried to hide now shine with testimony. What once embarrassed you becomes empowerment. You start to see that nothing was wasted, not a single tear, not a single trial. Every broken moment now carries glory. You can tell others, I've been there, and they'll see authenticity, not theory. That's what heaven wanted all along, not perfection, but proof. Proof that God still heals, still restores, still redeems. You are the living sermon no pulpit can deliver. The wilderness transformed you from a seeker of miracles into a carrier of them. Now, when you speak, your words carry weight because they were forged in truth. When you pray, your voice carries power because it has known silence. When you comfort others, it's not sympathy, it's authority. You've walked the road they fear and discovered that even in barrenness, God blooms beauty. So walk forward now. Chosen one, you are not the same person who entered the wilderness. You carry the fragrance of endurance, the fire of faith, and the calm of one who has seen God in the desert. You are both survivor and storyteller, both vessel and voice. What once felt like your lowest season has become your launching ground. The wilderness was not the end of your story. It was the beginning of your witness. There is a shift that happens so quietly, you almost miss it. Chosen one, after the storms, after the refining, after the silence, something within you changes. The crown that heaven promised begins to settle, not on your head where others can see, but deep within your spirit where only God can place it. You don't feel proud, you feel peaceful. You don't feel higher, you feel grounded. This is what it means to be crowned in the Spirit. The world teaches that crowns are won through competition, but heaven teaches that crowns are received through surrender. You were never in a race with others, you were in refinement with yourself. The battles you fought were not to prove your strength, but to reveal your endurance. Every hidden tear was polishing the jewel that now rests upon you. This crowning is not loud or lavish. It happens in moments that seem ordinary, a calm heart in chaos, a word of kindness to someone who wronged you, a smile when you could have given silence. That's when heaven leans close and says, "You've learned my nature." That's when the invisible crown gleams. The crown you wear is not made of gold, but of glory. It doesn't weigh you down, it lifts you up. It carries no jewels, yet it shines brighter than earthly thrones. This is the reward of those who endure quietly, who love deeply, who stay faithful when no one claps. Heaven honors what earth overlooks. The ancient words recorded in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 8, declare, "Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day, and not only to me, but also to all who have longed for his appearing." And that verse is your reflection now. The crown of righteousness is not a future promise. It is a present reality growing stronger within you. Every act of obedience has shaped it. Every choice to forgive has strengthened its frame. Every moment of silence has been another thread of divine royalty woven into your being. You have become what you were always meant to be, royalty of the Spirit. But this crown comes with responsibility. You cannot wear glory and still live carelessly. You are an ambassador now, carrying heaven's culture wherever you go. Your words matter more. Your silence carries weight. The way you love, forgive, and walk through life is now a reflection of the King you represent. Being crowned in the Spirit doesn't mean life will suddenly be easy. It means that challenges no longer define you, they refine you. You will still face storms, but now you'll notice that they no longer shake you the same way. You'll still encounter resistance, but your response will be different. There's authority in your peace now. There's stability in your surrender. People will begin to see something in you that they can't explain, a glow that doesn't fade. a calm that doesn't crumble. It's not pride, it's presence. You've learned to carry the atmosphere of heaven within you. That's what crowns do they mark, who belongs to the King. The enemy can no longer manipulate you with the same lies because your identity has been sealed. When you know you are crowned, insecurity loses its grip. When you understand your authority, fear loses its voice. You no longer chase validation, you release it. You no longer beg for peace, you are peace. And as you walk with this invisible crown, something beautiful happens. You begin to lift others without even trying. Your endurance becomes an example. Your faith becomes a fire others can warm themselves by. The crown you wear is contagious, not because it shines outwardly, but because it radiates from within. Now, chosen one, take a moment to acknowledge what heaven has already placed upon you. The refining was not in vain. The tears, the waiting, the warfare, all of it was shaping you for this sacred moment. You are crowned not for comfort, but for calling. If this truth resonates with your soul, if you can feel that gentle weight of glory resting upon your life, comment 555 below. That number represents grace multiplied, divine transformation in motion. It's not superstition, it's symbolism, a prophetic echo that the change within you has been sealed by heaven's hand. When you type it, you're not performing, you're confirming. You're acknowledging that you are no longer in hiding, you are crowned in spirit and truth. So, walk forward. Crowned one. Lift your head. Not in pride, but in purpose. The invisible crown will speak louder than words ever could. Wherever you go, heaven will go with you, because what rests on your spirit now is not temporary, but éternel. The more you yield, the brighter you become. That is the paradox of divine power. It flows not from control, but from surrender. You have spent much of your journey learning to fight, to endure, to stand firm. But now, chosen one, you are learning something deeper. That victory often looks like yielding. The radiance of obedience does not shout, it shines. Obedience is not a chain, it is a current. It moves you effortlessly in the direction of grace. When you stop striving to understand and start trusting to obey, the Spirit flows through you like a river through open gates. Every act of surrender becomes another spark of light. And before long, you realize that your entire being glows with peace. There is a rhythm to obedience that you only discover through intimacy. It is not about rules or fear of punishment. It's about alignment. The Creator, who formed galaxies with a word, also formed your path with intention. When you walk in step with His will, creation itself seems to cooperate with your journey. Things fall into place, not by luck, but by law, the law of divine harmony. You have seen what happens when you resist. The anxiety, the confusion, the heaviness, all signs that your soul is swimming upstream against destiny's flow. But the moment you yield, the struggle ceases. The doors that once resisted you begin to open. Peace returns, not because circumstances change, but because you've stopped fighting the current of grace. As the Apostle wrote in the letter to the Philippians, chapter 2, verse 13, "For it is God who works in you to will and to act in order to fulfill His good purpose." No, that verse is the key to your new rhythm. You are not obeying from effort, but from cooperation. God Himself is breathing through your decisions, whispering through your instincts, guiding your hands even when you don't realize it. Obedience, in its purest form, is agreement with heaven. It's the art of saying yes without hesitation. And when you begin to live like this, your very presence changes. People around you feel peace but cannot explain why. The atmosphere shifts when you enter a room, not because of your charisma, but because of your connection. You carry heaven's rhythm, calm yet powerful, still yet unstoppable. The radiance of obedience does not demand attention, it simply exists. It's seen in kindness when no one is watching, in patience when you could react, in love that keeps giving even when unreciprocated. These small, quiet acts of obedience become beams of light in a weary world. You may not notice them, but heaven does. Every act of faithfulness adds to your glow. The enemy tries to convince you that obedience limits freedom, but the opposite is true. Disobedience enslaves the soul. Obedience releases it. When you yield to divine will, you step out of confusion into clarity. You no longer have to guess where to go. The path becomes illuminated one step at a time. You walk in peace because your pace matches heaven's pulse. It's not that you won't face difficulty anymore, you will. But now, your reaction will differ. You'll face challenges not with fear, but with focus. You'll sense when to speak and when to stay silent, when to move and when to wait. This discernment is the fruit of a yielded heart. Obedience sharpens hearing. It tunes your soul to heaven's frequency, making you sensitive to divine timing. And that timing is everything. One obedient step at the right moment can accomplish what 1,000 struggles in the wrong season never could. That's why obedience is radiant. It carries the light of alignment. When heaven and earth agree through your surrender, miracles become natural. Doors open that no effort could unlock. Hearts soften. Mountains move quietly. The radiant life is not about perfection, it's about partnership. You are no longer trying to impress God, you are walking with Him. You trust that His plans are better than your preferences, and in that trust, you find power not loud, not dramatic, but steady, transformative power. Every time you say yes to God, your light intensifies. Not a harsh light that blinds, but a warm one that guides. It's the kind of radiance that gives hope to the hopeless, comfort to the weary, and courage to those who have lost direction. You become a living lighthouse in the storm. Obedience doesn't steal your identity, it reveals it. The more you yield, the more you become the version heaven always saw when it first whispered your name. The radiance of obedience is not about doing more, but about being more peaceful, more loving, more aligned, more alive. So, keep yielding. Chosen one, keep shining through surrender. The world may never understand this quiet glow, but heaven does. Every time you obey without fear, you write light into the fabric of eternity. You are becoming a reflection of the one who said, "Let there be light." And indeed, through your obedience, there will always come a moment when the crown must meet the conflict. Chosen one, the radiance that once comforted you will now be tested in the shadow of opposition. This is not punishment, it is proof. The light you carry must learn to stand before giants. It's one thing to glow in the secret place, it's another to shine in the battlefield. Heaven is not sending you into chaos unprepared. You have been armed with calm, trained through trials, and clothed in quiet authority. Every chosen vessel faces giants, circumstances that tower over your courage, voices that mock your progress, and fears that try to drown your faith. The giants may come as people, pressures, or even the whispers of your own doubt. But remember, giants are not signs that you've lost your way. They're proof that you've stepped into new territory. The land of promise is always guarded by intimidation. At first, their shadows will seem larger than your faith. You may look up and feel small, overwhelmed, uncertain. But the same God who walked with you through silence and refining will now stand beside you in confrontation. The peace he taught you in solitude is the weapon you will wield in public. Your stillness will be your sword. The Word of God declares in the first book of Samuel, chapter 17, verse 47, "All those gathered here will know that it is not by sword or spear that the Lord saves, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give all of you into our hands." Oh, you've reached that point now. Heaven does not need your panic, it needs your posture. Giants do not fall to fear or to frantic motion, they fall to faith. You don't have to match their size, you only have to remember your source. The God who called you from hiding, refined you in fire, and crowned you in spirit is the same God standing beside you now. The battle will test not your skill, but your stability. Will you remain calm when confronted? Will you remember truth when lies shout louder? Will you hold your peace when provoked? Those who stand before giants must carry a quiet that cannot be shaken. You do not conquer through noise, you conquer through knowing. Sometimes the battle will not even look like warfare. It will come disguised as opportunity, a chance to compromise, to choose comfort over conviction. These are subtle giants that tempt you to trade your purity for approval. But you were not crowned to bow. The authority you carry is not for negotiation. Obedience is still your greatest weapon. And when the giant falls, because it will, you will realize that it was never about the stone or the sling. It was about the stance, the confidence that comes not from ego, but from encounter, the awareness that the same God who delivered before will do it again. Giants only appear to test your memory, to see if you still remember who stands with you. There will also be battles that you don't see. Wars fought in the unseen, where your prayers are the arrows, and your endurance the shield. Do not grow weary when nothing seems to move. Sometimes giants fall slowly, piece by piece, invisible to human eyes. Keep standing, for faith itself shakes foundations. When you stand before giants, remember how far you've come. The same heart that once trembled in the wilderness now stands firm on the field. The same voice that once whispered in doubt now declares truth with authority. You have grown. Even if you didn't notice it happening, heaven has been shaping your posture for this exact moment. Every battle is designed to draw out new strength. You will discover gifts you didn't know you carried. Endurance you didn't know you possessed. The confrontation reveals capacity. It exposes not your weakness, but your weapon. What the enemy meant to intimidate will instead initiate your next level of purpose. So, do not run from the giants. Face them with grace. Look them in the eye and remember that you are not fighting alone. The throne that called you also covers you. The power that crowned you also defends you. The hand that lifted you from the pit will guide your aim and steady your breath. You were never chosen to avoid battles. You were chosen to transform them. Every confrontation becomes revelation. Every victory becomes a testimony. The giants that once mocked your faith will become monuments of your trust. And when the dust settles, when the echoes of battle fade, you will not boast in your strength, you will bow in gratitude. Because you'll realize that it was never about the fight itself, but about the formation of your faith. You didn't just face the giant, you became unshakable in the process. There is a stirring across the earth. Chosen. One, a sound not of noise, but of awakening. It is the rise of the royal remnant, the ones heaven hid until the appointed time. You can feel it, can't you? That holy electricity in your spirit. Like the air before a storm, the moment creation holds its breath because something divine is about to move. The world has seen power before, but never purity like this. These are not crowds chasing attention. These are hearts carrying assignment. You are part of that remnant, a people unshaken by chaos, uncorrupted by greed, unstoppable in obedience. You've walked through darkness long enough to know the value of light. And now, heaven says, it's time to rise. Rising doesn't always look like noise. Sometimes it looks like quiet consistency, praying when no one notices, loving when it's not returned, staying when others leave. That's how the royal remnant moves, with precision, not performance. You are a warrior disguised as peace, a voice wrapped in stillness, a flame hidden beneath humility. When the remnant rises, the atmosphere changes. You can sense it even now, hearts awakening, consciences softening, truth resurfacing after years of silence. Heaven's army doesn't march with swords, it moves with compassion. Each act of kindness becomes a trumpet blast in the unseen realm. Each prayer whispered in faith becomes a declaration that light still reigns. The prophet Elijah once thought he was alone when he stood against darkness. But God reminded him there were still 7,000 who had not bowed. That same truth applies to you. You are not the only one. Across cities, deserts, and nations, other chosen ones are standing just as you are, quiet but powerful, scattered but united. The remnant is not small, it is strategic. The ancient words recorded in the book of Zechariah, chapter 4, verse 6, remind us, not by might, nor by power, but by my Spirit, says the Lord Almighty. That's how this rise happens, not through force, but through flow. The royal remnant doesn't need recognition because heaven already endorses them. They don't crave attention because presence is enough. They understand that when you move with the Spirit, impact happens naturally. You don't have to force the light to shine, you just have to remove the veil. And perhaps that's the most beautiful part of this, awakening its humility. The remnant doesn't rise to rule, it rises to serve. You are not being elevated to be above people, but among them, to remind them of what heaven looks like when it walks in flesh. The crown you wear in the Spirit is not decoration, it's delegation. You represent the King wherever you go. The rise of the royal remnant is not about position, it's about posture. It's the heart bowed low in reverence, even as it stands tall in purpose. It's the voice that whispers peace while carrying the roar of heaven in silence. It's knowing that true strength is not shown in dominance, but in devotion. You were not chosen to conquer people. You were chosen to conquer darkness with love. And this movement, this quiet revolution of light, is already spreading. Every testimony shared, every life transformed, every simple act of goodness is another spark in the wildfire of redemption. You might think your impact is small, but heaven counts differently. One candle can ignite 1,000. One voice can awaken a generation. So let your light rise without fear. Walk as royalty, but love as a servant. Stand as a warrior, but speak as a healer. The world doesn't need louder noise. It needs living proof. And that proof is you. If this message resonates within your spirit, if you can feel that pull, that confirmation that you are part of something greater, like this message as an act of unity, let it be your silent agreement with heaven's plan. Share it, not to spread a post, but to pass the flame, to let another hidden one know they are not alone. And if you haven't already, subscribe to stay connected with this stream of anointing, not out of habit, but hunger, because every message is another reminder that you belong to a royal lineage. And when you've done that, take a quiet moment and comment, "I rise," not for the sake of reaction, but as declaration. Your words are not just pixels on a screen, they are echoes in eternity. Proof that the remnant is alive, alert, and awakening. You are part of this divine uprising, a chosen generation born to carry light where others fear to go. This is your moment, your movement, your mantle. The world may not see it yet, but heaven already does. The royal remnant has risen, and your name is among them. Long after the noise fades and the crowds move on, there remains something sacred, the quiet record of faithfulness. Heaven keeps its own archives. Chosen one. Every prayer whispered in the dark, every act of kindness unseen. Every moment you chose obedience over convenience, none of it has gone unnoticed. These are the echoes of eternity. You may not realize it now, but your faith has left footprints beyond time. The decisions you made in silence ripple through generations. The moments you thought were small are being written into stories that will outlive you. Heaven's records are not kept in ink, but in impact. Every choice made in love becomes an eternal echo. It's easy to underestimate your quiet consistency. The world celebrates what is loud, visible, and immediate, but eternity celebrates what is steady, pure, and enduring. You are not measured by applause, but by alignment. What seems insignificant to men often resounds like thunder in heaven. The smallest prayer can shift an entire season. The gentlest act of forgiveness can release years of bondage in another soul. You have been living a story that stretches far beyond your timeline. Heaven writes in dimensions that mortal eyes cannot see. Every yes to God, every surrender, every refusal to give up, they all weave into a tapestry that spans centuries. What you do today will be the reason someone else finds courage tomorrow. That is the mystery of divine continuity. Nothing done in faith ever dies. There's a hidden beauty in legacy. You may never see all the fruit of your obedience, but eternity will. The people you touch might forget your name, but they will remember the peace you carried. The comfort you gave will live on in their words, their choices, their children. You are sowing seeds that bloom in generations you will never meet. As the apostle wrote in the first letter to Corinthians, chapter 15, verse 58, "Stand firm, let nothing move you. Always give yourselves to the work of the Lord, for your labor in Him is not in vain." Those words are not merely instruction, they are a reminder that heaven keeps score differently. The unseen work is the eternal work. Your endurance, your integrity, your quiet faith These are the pillars that hold up invisible kingdoms. Angels mark the moments you persevere, and heaven records the sacrifices no one else applauds, even when your efforts seem unnoticed. Remember, eternity watches with perfect clarity. God sees the nights you stayed kind when you could have been bitter, the times you prayed for those who wounded you, the seasons you gave when you barely had enough. Those acts are not lost, they are stored, treasured, and multiplied. You are a living echo of God's faithfulness. Your very existence proves that mercy endures. Think of the generations before you, those who prayed without seeing the promise, those who sowed in tears so that others could reap in joy. You are the continuation of their faith, and someone, years from now, will stand because of yours. This is what it means to live beyond time, to understand that every action reverberates in eternity. Heaven does not count success in numbers, but in obedience. The moments that felt the most hidden were actually the most holy. While others were chasing visibility, you were building legacy. And legacy is not built in haste. It's carved through seasons of silence, through repetition, through showing up when no one claps. It's not glamorous, but it's glorious. Each day you choose righteousness. You add another note to heaven's symphony. The sound will keep playing long after your name is spoken on earth for the last time. Eternity has heard your faith. Heaven has recorded your resilience. Even now, there are ripples of your obedience moving outward, touching lives, altering stories, shifting destinies you'll never see. This is the secret of the chosen. They live for echoes, not applause. So stand firm, even when no one notices. Speak truth, even when no one listens. Love deeply, even when no one reciprocates. Every heartbeat of faith is a sound wave that will travel far beyond your years. There will come a day when heaven plays back the song of your life, and you'll hear it, not as noise, but as harmony, the melody of choices made in love, the rhythm of faith that refused to fade. That day, you will understand, nothing was wasted, nothing was forgotten, nothing was unseen. There comes a time, chosen one, when the hidden no longer stay hidden. The season of silence gives way to the sound of revelation. What was once buried under years of struggle now begins to bloom in divine timing. This is that moment, the unveiling. You are stepping into the light, not to be seen, but to shine. Heaven has finished its preparation. The earth is now ready to witness what it had forgotten it needed. The journey has been long. You've carried wounds that taught you wisdom, and lessons that cost you everything but gave you purpose. You have walked through obscurity, refinement, surrender, and now, emergence. The same hand that hid you has lifted the veil. You are not returning to the world as who you were. You are returning as who you've become, hither no more, crowned forever. The unveiling does not come with fanfare, but with fulfillment. You'll notice that doors open quietly, that opportunities unfold gently, as though the universe itself has been instructed not to startle your peace. Heaven reveals the chosen in silence, because only those who can hear the whisper deserve to see the glory. You are now walking in a rhythm that cannot be taught, the rhythm of divine confidence. It is not arrogance, it is awareness. You have learned who you are in Him, and therefore, you no longer chase what was never meant to define you. You do not compete, because your race was always a calling, not a contest. You walk with calm authority because you know where your crown came from. The Word of God declares in the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 11, "I am coming soon. Hold on to what you have, so that no one will take your crown." And those words are not a warning of loss, but a reminder of stewardship. The crown you now carry is not made of gold or jewels. It is formed from endurance, humility, and unbreakable faith. You were not given this crown to display, but to demonstrate. It is not worn on the head for admiration, but on the soul for service. When heaven crowns a person, the world may not even notice. There will be no ceremony, no applause. The evidence will be in your peace, your discernment, your resilience. The same trials that once made you tremble will now find no entry point. The same storms that once overwhelmed you will now serve as the wind beneath your wings. The crown is not protection from difficulty, it is authority over despair. You have learned that to be crowned is not to escape weakness, but to master it. True strength is not the absence of pain. It is the refusal to let pain define your identity. You wear your scars like jewels now, not as reminders of suffering, but as emblems of grace. Every mark on your soul tells a story of divine faithfulness. Every healed wound becomes a doorway for light. You are entering a new chapter 1, where your life itself becomes the testimony. You no longer need to explain your transformation. Your peace will preach for you. Your consistency will speak louder than your words. You will walk into spaces where you once felt small, and the same atmosphere that used to intimidate you will now yield to the authority of your presence. The weight of your crown will not crush you, because your humility has made room for its glory. The deeper you bow in gratitude, the brighter it will shine. You are learning that greatness is not about being above others, but being anchored in God. You have been called not to impress, but to impact, not to command attention, but to carry atmosphere. And so, chosen one, walk into the light without fear. The same God who hid you in obscurity will now display you in purpose. The same silence that once felt endless will now echo with fulfillment. You have been hidden in the crowd, but you were never lost. You were being crowned in the Spirit. Slowly, tenderly, perfectly. Now, heaven and earth both agree. The unveiling has begun. The story that started in secrecy ends in glory. The name that was once overlooked will soon be associated with peace, with power, with purpose. Your journey was never about recognition. It was always about revelation, the revealing of what God can do with a surrendered life. And now, as the light touches your face and the dust of the wilderness settles behind you, you understand you were hidden not to be forgotten, but to be formed. Heathen no more, crowned forever, chosen one. Take a deep breath. You've journeyed through fire, silence, revelation, and glory, and now you stand in light. You are no longer hidden, no longer waiting. You are living proof that heaven's timing never fails. The crown upon your spirit is real, and its glow will only grow stronger as you walk forward in faith. If this journey has stirred something deep within you, let it live beyond this moment. Like this message, not for numbers, but as an act of gratitude, a small flame offered back to heaven. Share it, not as content, but as calling, because somewhere another soul is still in hiding, waiting for the same hope you've now found. Comment, "I receive it," to anchor this word within you. letting heaven see your agreement written in faith. And if your heart hungers for more of these divine reminders, subscribe, not out of routine, but out of relationship. Stay connected to this stream of purpose, because your journey doesn't end here. It unfolds from here. You are part of something eternal. Walk forward, crowned, chosen, and radiant, for your story has only just begun.